Hi there. Welcome to Stories, a podcast by Acadium where we focus on the stories of our incredible users. People come to Acadium for a few different reasons. They might be looking to build new skills, whether that's for a career change or just to deepen their craft, or they might be looking to get some eager extra hands on their project or business. In any case, people come to Acadium to grow, and we find that our users often have amazing stories to tell about their journeys, and we're here to share them. And we're recording. Iris, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of
I'm very
course.
happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy to be talking to you. This is fun for me because we haven't really had much time to get to know each other. So in this conversation, I'm looking forward to learning more about you and your journey. It's all new for me, just like the people who are listening. So I'm really excited. Whereabouts are you located right now?
Right now, I'm living in Calgary and Alberta. So I've been here since last year. I think a year. In the next couple of days, yes, I will be here for a year.
Very exciting. The 1 year anniversary is on its way. So
Yes.
I know that you had this whole background in hospitality, and you've done a lot of traveling through that industry, and you were originally from Chile. I'd love to kind of unpack that journey and talk a bit about how you ultimately made your way to Calgary, if that's all right with you. Um, so if we rewind the clock, where did you go to school, and what did you study?
Well, I've been working in the hospitality industry for the past 15 years, and I took the decision to go back to school when I was in Iceland. I was working there for a couple months, and then I decided that I want to switch because as much as you travel and then you work in the hospitality industry, you work a lot, and sometimes you have time, to explore places. But I wanted to have more time and keep traveling. So I took a program in college in Northern Ontario, and I took public relations and events management. That was really caught my eye because they have a little bit of marketing and social media. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, maybe that's something that I could do in the future. And then I took a decision and I joined the program, and I really love it. I just fell in love with marketing and digital media, and I just realized that it's something that I wanted to do.
I'd like to go back even further, actually. So, where did you first go to school before you got into the hospitality industry?
Well, I studied back in home in Chile. I took business administration, and then I took hospitality and tourism management in Niagara College in Ontario as well. So that was back in 2016. And I was like still interested in the hospitality industry. I was like very excited. But suddenly, when you're like growing up and you've been in the industry for so long, your mindset start to change. And also you start to like new things and probably try to enjoy more life than just working a lot. Like if you work in the hospitality industry, you probably work between 8 to 12 hours a day, which is what it was too much for me at some point. And it was like, oh, I kind of want to do something different. And a part of my work experience, I really enjoy working in hotels and restaurants and working with people. And it was like, I need to find another way to combine my skills and turn it into something that is more digital. And that's what I decided to switch.
I'm really interested in that process. So you said that you started to realize that your interests were changing. Can you explain how you made the decision to go into hospitality? What sort of interests first brought you to that, and then maybe we can get into how you realized that it was time to make a change.
But I love traveling. That's something that I love to explore. I love to go different places. When I was in Chile, you're young and wild and you don't know what you really want. But something that I always clear, it was like, okay, I want to travel. I want to travel the world. And that's why I ended up traveling and working in Dubai, in England, in Canada, States. And that's what I really set my mind and say, okay, I want to do something different. I want to learn more. I want to see the entire world. And I still want to. And I think turning my career into the digital market is something that I can probably take advantage in the future and keep doing what I like and what I enjoy.
So one thing that we were talking about before we started recording the call was you were mentioning that you know some people who are sort of thinking about similar things now. They're realizing that with where the world is at right now, it might be worthwhile to try and pick up some new skills and maybe make a career change themselves. If you put yourself in that position and think back to what it was that sort of helped you decide, yes, this is something that I'm going to do, and turn that kind of interest or desire into action. What was going through your head? What helped get that process over the line?
Well, I was like, when you start to realize that your interests are like changing in terms of what you really want. Like if you're very young, yes, you like to party and, wild and free. But when you try to switch, sometimes you still want to do things that you did in the past, but probably with a little bit of more time. So I think in my search and trying to find and being comfortable doing something that I would probably be doing in the future for a long time, I decided to switch. And I was like, I want more time. I want more time to explore. I want more time, sometimes just to be at home and have the freedom of decide what I want to do tomorrow, what I want to do today. Try to do my own schedule and be more independent. And I think that's something that, especially now, because COVID and all people who works in different industries like restaurants and hotels, travel companies. I've even seen a lot of people trying to find themselves again and trying to, reinvent their careers because it's hard right now. It's difficult times, and unfortunately, we need to adapt. And I can be more happy that I took the path 2-3 years ago and decided to be more in the digital market, like working online and trying to do a little bit of marketing and try to explore a different career because right now I have a job and I can be more happy just working from home and doing my own thing and then being safe.
How did you make the decision when you decided I want the ability to work maybe remotely? Well, I guess I haven't asked this question. So the decision to move into more of a digital first career and specifically to choose marketing, how did you land on marketing as the place that you wanted to direct your career?
Well, when I took the program back in Northern Ontario at the college, I was trying to figure out more like, what I like to do best. I like to do more events. I like to do more, fundraisings, or I want to go to more of the digital area. Well, like social media or email marketing campaigns, what I like to do the most. And what I really enjoy from that program, it was that I have two different professors, Natasha and Gino, and then they helped me a lot to try to decide what I wanted to do because the subjects were like very spread out. Like you have events, you have social media, you have digital marketing, and then I tried to figure out what I like the most. And I was like, I like events, but I don't think that is something that I want to, I want to see myself doing every weekend while everyone is like enjoying family time. and I want to have something to do like from home probably, or more remotely, like having the freedom to travel. And then I decided, yeah, I want to do this. I want to go in the marketing path. I want to do more social media. I want to learn search engine optimization. And that's why I was kind of afraid to take this step, because obviously you are not, like, I'm not from Canada, right? I'm from Chile. As a Latina, I always try to improve myself and try to, keep growing. But I was like a little bit afraid of, oh my God, what if this doesn't work? What if I don't have the time to study? And, what if I'm not very organized? And you're like doubting yourself 10 million times in a day. Like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do it? And I finally agree with myself and say, okay, yeah, this is really something that I want to do. This is something that give me the freedom. I got a life balance, and I want to be with my friends. I want to be happy. And that's, I think, is something that is really important for people too, something that really make you happy, because you need to love what you do, right? And it's what you provide to people, to understand how you communicate. Marketing is everything. And you still, trying to establish relationships, you talk to customers, but in a different way. So I think that was the perfect combination for me. And that's what I was like trying to improve myself doing over time. And that's what I am here.
Are there some specific things that you did during this process that helped you sort of get from that place of maybe a bit of self-doubt to a place of confidence? Because the way that you just described that process to me sounds like there was this switch that flipped, where at first you were really doubting whether or not this was the right decision because there were all these risks and uncertainties, and then all of a sudden you said to yourself, no, this is the right choice, this is what's best for me. Was it just sort of an epiphany moment, or were there some specific things that you did that helped you get to that place of confidence?
Well, support is something that you really needs to have from your peers and your family, friends, and is also something that you build yourself. Like if you are constantly studying, if you are constantly, learning new skills, you can gain confidence, that's for sure. That's something that I was like, for me, it was a process. It was like, oh, okay. I was like pretty much testing myself all the time. I was studying. I was like, I am very self-productive person. I'm very proactive. I like to learn. If something that you don't know, I will find out answers. I will try to search for someone who actually can teach me how to do it. And I think that's the best way to build your confidence and drive what you really want to do. Like if you want to drive your motivation and then you just see, oh my God, I fail. That's something that is really big too. It's like how you build your confidence when you probably get rejected from 10 jobs, or how you build your confidence if don't succeed at the first time. It's really a process, I have to say. You have to be 100% sure that you are able to do whatever you want. It's just the confidence that you need to build in the process, and that is knowledge, this is skills, it's something that is a combination that you need to put together. And also a lot of support. If you have a support from your peers, if you have support from your friends, your partner, and that is something that is also have a really huge impact when you try to switch careers, when you try to learn something new, when you go a job interview, for example, is important. And it's something that really helped me to, take the decision to say, yes, this is what I want to do. For example, when I was in school, I was one of the first students that got hired before even I finished my program. And that was something that motivated me like a lot. Like I was hired and it was like, oh my God, I got hired for this job. And it was like a marketing job for a company, for a startup company. And that was like, okay, that was my first accomplishment. I graduated with distinction. I got a scholarship. So you really need to push yourself, and don't be afraid to fail. That is a combination that, step up and the step down. But you really have to be sure that if you want something, you just fight for it.
I love that piece of advice. I think it's very important. Once you decided what path you wanted to go down within digital marketing, did you have a specific type of job in mind that you wanted to get? You picked your specialization. Sounds like you were primarily interested in social media. Did you look ahead to a type of job that you were working towards? What I'm trying to get at is what contributed to you getting hired so quickly?
Well, like I'm a very organized person, and I'm always, I don't know, I'm an old fashioned. I always write down what I believe that I am capable to do, what I would like to do in the future, and what I would like to learn. So I
Oh,
always divide.
that's really interesting. Sorry to interrupt. So, how often do you do that?
Well, I often do it like monthly, like what I want to accomplish each month. Like if I am, this is my stage, what I'm doing right now, what am I good at it, what else I want to do this month, what I want to accomplish, and what I'm going to be doing in the next couple months. What are my dreams? What are my goals? So that is something that I always plan. And I remember myself, I was like, what I'm good at it. Like I have good ideas. Probably yes. I would like to create content. Yes. I use my imagination. Yes. So I try always to put everything together. And I
Do you,
remember when I went to that interview. Sorry, I just finished this. I just went to the interview, and I was like, I created like an entire plan, like 2 pages. And it was like, I just crashed and I was like, I don't know if they're gonna read it, but I'm just gonna give it to them. And I created an entire plan for the company. I was like in a startup company, and they were like very impressed. And I was like, okay. I was like, they say to me that we're like interviewing like people who have a master's degree in marketing and someone who show up with a bachelor's in business administration and marketing. And I was just like a college student, right? So I was like, okay. I was not sure if I would get hired, but I did my best no matter what. It was like the other people who was coming to the interview. But I did my best, and it worked out. It worked out really good. And I think that's something that you have to be realistic in terms of saying, okay, I am good at this. What else I need to learn to complement this skill? Like, okay, this month I'm good content creation. Like I love content creation. And I'm good like structuring email marketing campaigns. Okay. But I'm not so good in search engine optimization, for example. So I try to push myself like at least an hour, 2 hours a week, and try to learn that skill. I think it's in marketing and all digital media, pretty much you have to be very organized. And if you're very organized and then you really like what are you doing, I think it's easy. It's come along. It's come along, and then you just keep learning and keep doing it. And I've been seeing so many people that just start the business after COVID-19 and after all this pandemic, and they're like growing. They know they're not going to be successful at the first month. They're not going to explode themselves, but they know they're building something. And as long as you're moving, I think you're okay.
that's really inspiring. Actually, I think that there are a lot of really great pieces of advice in there. Back to sort of the question that started all that, this habit of kind of writing down. You mentioned a bunch of interesting things. Like on the one hand, it sounds like you're writing down your goals, but I love the idea of writing down what you think you're capable of and taking it further to what your dreams are. But specifically the idea of writing down what you're capable of, do you find that helps you build confidence to sort of put down on paper, I can do these things really well, and then sort of isolate the things that you need to spend time working on? Do you find that helps you build your own confidence in your abilities.
I think that's absolutely true. Like for me, it works. I know that most humans are afraid to, don't tell me that I am not good enough. Don't tell me that I'm not good enough for you, or I'm not good enough for this job. But we need to be honest with ourselves, and how we can improve and how we can gain confidence is the only way is to be clear. And for me, like write it down what I'm good and what I am like probably not so good. Make me see the difference and say, okay, I'm not so good doing this, but I can improve. So you have the possibility and the chance to improve that. And I think that is something that we need to accept, as the same way that we need to accept ourselves, the way we are, the way we speak, the way we look, is being truly honest. And when you write it down something, it's like you read it, so it's like facing something that you actually believe. And I think that is super important to understand. That is, it's no bad. It's like I have 10 million post-its all over my wall to remember what I have to do, what I have to learn, what are the future goals. And then I just make connections and say, okay, to accomplish this I have to follow this. And it's like a chain that you have to follow. And for me, that's the only way that you can be happy, enjoy what you do, love yourself a little bit more, and build your confidence. Just trusting yourself, and knowing yourself a little bit better, and saying, yes, I am able to do this, but according to do this, it's not going to happen overnight. I have to work on this first. So having like a certain structure or map that can guide you to accomplish your goals, I think is the best way to success. And it's the best way to take decisions as well. Like sometimes I switch my mind very fast in terms of things and decisions, but you always have to have the base and say, okay, this is the risk that I'm taking, and this is how much it will cost me at some point, and I will have to work hard in this. The only thing that you have to do is work hard and keep following your dreams and keep following what you believe, because that's the way how I switched my career. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to write a blog, because I never did in the past, but I did it, and I worked out for a company that was working, and actually I have a really good comments, and I was like very impressed. And then I was like, oh my god, this is taking me such a long time to figure out ideas and everything and put it together, but it worked out at the end. So I think the key is not giving up in the way or the process. I know you get frustrated. I know you get discouraged. I know that you probably will hear like a couple of no, 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 but that's something that you need to fight. You need to prove them and prove to yourself that you love what you do, and you're not wrong.
What in this process where you're sort of being very honest with yourself, it sounds like, about what you're good at, what you're not good at, what your goals are, and then sort of filling in the blanks around what you need to improve upon to walk towards those goals. When you identify something that you need to work on, you mentioned SEO as an example earlier when you were going through this process. When you say, okay, this is the thing that I need to work on, you mentioned that you carve out a couple of hours. I can't remember if you said a week or a month, but regardless, I have two questions. One is how do you stick to that schedule? How do you carve out that time and make sure that you always find the time to work on these things that you need to improve? And then second, are there some resources that you often look to, marketing related, when you have to learn something new? Are there sort of a few go-to places that you default to when it's time to pick up a new skill?
Yeah, well, I tried to make a calendar for a week. It's hard to stuck into the calendar. It's hard because it's always like something new to do or something special. And if you have family, if you have friends, if you have a husband, boyfriend, they all ask you for time, 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 time. I used to do a calendar like every week, and I know that something that is I don't like to do so much search engine optimization because it's hard and it's like a lot of time that you need to spend on it. So usually it's an hour early in the morning when your mind is fresh, when you don't have to think about anything else, and then you understand better. Like for me, I always try to put a difficult task or things that I don't like to do so much first. So I make the most in the time in the morning. I was like, oh, I don't like to do this. I would put it first. Because if you put it at the end of the list or at the end of the day in your calendar, it's really, really hard to concentrate and try to, spend the entire time that you decide to assign to that task or like time to learn something. So I usually organize my schedule like every week and I say, okay, Monday, I'm going to do this at this time. Um, for me, it worked pretty good. It does work in terms of trying to learn something that you don't like and you hate it, but you need to you need to know how to do it because it will be beneficial for you in the future anyways. And it's truly important for writing as well. And oh, sorry, what was the other question?
The second question was, are there some resources that you default to typically
Oh
when
yes.
specific to marketing, when there's something new that you want to learn?
Well, yes. I always try to learn something new. Like, marketing, digital marketing is changing every single day. Like, if you need to use like different tools, or if you want to schedule a calendar for social media, there's different type of tools. Like I use Trello, I use Asana. Acadium has a lot of great uh, how you say it, like courses or a little workshops that you can learn. They're doing webinars, and I think that there's a lot of support out there. There's a lot of free courses. There's a lot of resources that you can explore, and just trying to earn a certification or something. And especially during COVID, that's what happened to me. Like I was like kind of searching for new things to do and new things to learn, and you just have to make the most of your time and just be organized.
Can you talk a bit about what it is that you do now for work?
Sure. Well, after COVID like hit, I was working in a hotel, so I got laid off in March, and me and my husband, we got laid off at the same time, so it was like, okay. Fun times. We got laid off both, and then I start to look for a job and look for something else to do in the time that we're like in quarantine. So I look for a job, and I found a digital media coordinator job, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working for a company here in Calgary, and I'm working for the other company that I started 2 years ago when I finished school. So it's like a software company that I'm still doing all the marketing, email marketing. So I have two jobs right now, and I'm gonna start another job in, I think it's after the 15th of October. Hopefully the travel industry is gonna get better, so I will probably join the company very soon.
Wow. How do you balance so many different jobs? Yeah, how do you balance all that?
Well, time and organize, like I said before, is I just try to find the balance between, okay, I work for this company 2 days a week, for this other company, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then I work a lot on the weekend. I know I shouldn't do it because my husband is not very happy. I work a lot on the weekends, and I just, in the morning, Sunday morning is like the entire programming of the week. Like, okay, I have to do this, this, and this. And during the week, I get up very early in the morning. Like I change my sleeping habits, so I wake up every day at 5 a.m. I go to sleep at around 9, 8:30, 9. And it's actually found that I'm more productive during mornings than evenings or afternoons. So that works better for me. And I just work a lot, I guess. But it doesn't seem like I work a lot, because when you're enjoying what you're doing, it's like, okay, I just need to do this, this, and this. And now, communication is important. Like my partner understands, because sometimes it's like, oh, I need to do this for tomorrow. I need to put it on the calendar. So we have our little moments, but it's fun. It's fun.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. I don't want to take any more of your time. It was really fun to learn a little bit more about your path and how you successfully made a career switch. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's something we're really interested in here at Acadium. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about your story. As a final question, I noticed in the bio that you sent to me, you shared this favorite quote of yours from Christopher McCandless, who's the subject of the book Into the Wild. For those of you that haven't read or seen it, it's a book or a movie about this boy who goes on this wild adventure out into Alaska, and the quote is, "Happiness is only real when it's shared." Can you explain why that's your favorite quote?
I realized that I read the book and I watch the movie, so I really fell in love with the concept, because many people take it in a different way, like how they see like the decision that he took, like to go in the wild and do whatever he wanted to do. If you think about it, the things that you do during your journey, like everything is a journey. Like for me, happiness is only real when you share it, because you need to share what you do. You need to share your happiness. If you are not completely happy, if you're not sharing or exchanging emotions with someone, that's the only way that you can reach people, like trying to make a connection. If you don't make that connection, if you just stuck in your little bubble and you never open it up to get to know people, or probably when you communicate with people, like applies to digital marketing as well. If you don't communicate how you feel, if you don't communicate what the message that you want to pass on, you're not completely happy. For me, is you need to share who you are, and you need to be open to receive that as well. In terms of, you can have whatever you want, you can be rich, you can be poor, but the only reason why people is actually happy, or something that makes you happy, is connection, is emotions, is to be with someone who make you feel the way you want to feel, and then pass the energy and pass the same message to the other person. I think that it's all about communication. And for me, that movie like encrypted everything, the connection with the nature, but all the steps that he went through to find that, and then realize that he was happy the entire time, making connections and sharing his experience and interacting with others. I think that is something that is really strong, and sometimes we forget about those things.
I really appreciate you sharing that. It's a movie that really, and a book that really captured me as well. So the quote stood out to me, and I appreciate you explaining the reasoning behind why it's your favorite quote. And like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to share your story with me and anybody who's listening today. Thank you so much, Iris.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a pleasure for me too. Take care.